Right now at 4 on WHAS 11 News, look at Louisville in its early days. We're talking about Louisville's unique history here, talking about the Louisville Giant, as he was called, Jim Porter. He lived here from 1811 to 1859, and get this, he was 7 feet 8 inches tall. He lived in Shippingport. It was originally that peninsula connected to Louisville's Portland neighborhood. He owned a bar there called the Big Gun Tavern. He's buried in Cave Hill Cemetery. The Frazier History Museum has a case of objects about Jim Porter. The bell you'd ring to enter his tavern, the gun mounted behind the bar, and a plaster cast of his hand. And he's the focus of the Frazier's new podcast called Kentucky Wide. And joining us to talk about Jim Porter and the Frazier History Museum and their big street beer festival on Saturday is Simon Miners. He's the research specialist at the Frazier. Now, Simon, you're tall. Now, I'm pretty tall.
Sure.
The tallest man I ever saw in here walk in the studio was Dan Issel.
Naturally.
But this is really tall.
We are, as the kids would say, short kings compared to Jim Porter, 7 feet 8 inches tall. You said he was born in 1811, grew up in this Shippingport neighborhood. A lot of folks don't realize there's this island right off I-64 West. If you're between the Portland neighborhood of West Louisville and New Albany, there's this island there that used to have people on it. Up until the 1950s, the government forced the last residents out. But back 200 years ago, there was so much residential and commercial activity. Basically, Kentucky Kingdom was out there. It was called Elm Tree Garden, and you could do marble shooting and turkey hunts and amusement park rides. And this guy who lived out there is our most famous resident, Jim Porter. He had acromegaly, which is also called gigantism, so a tumor on his pituitary gland just shooting growth hormones into his body nonstop. That's why he peaked at 7 feet 8 inches tall.
Now, when the famous author Charles Dickens came to Louisville, and he spent just a few days on his tour of America, he wrote about seeing Jim Porter. What did he say about him?
Well, Porter was a little resistant because he didn't really care who Charles Dickens was. So Dickens ended up going out to the bar to meet Jim Porter, and he wrote about it in his travelogue. He described the Porter as a lighthouse among lampposts, which is a cute analogy. I guess the good people of Louisville are the lampposts in there. Yeah, they had that interaction. That's sort of why he's well known as well.
Where did the plaster cast of his hand come, and do you believe it is his real hand?
I do believe that's actually his hand. I can't remember the length of the hand from the tip to the wrist, but I don't know logistically how that was obtained. But we do, as you mentioned, have on display in that case the actual rifle he had behind the bar at the Big Gun Tavern, which is 8 feet long. And this man was so large he could shoulder it himself. It's normally a two-person gun. You shoot at a pheasant or a duck or something. We have the bell that you would ring to gain access to the bar as well. So if you're interested in learning more about Kentucky Giant Jim Porter, you can listen to our new podcast on Kentucky Wide, is what it's called, or you can come down to the Frazier Museum and see these objects on display.
Why is he important to our history? He obviously lived here in the early days. And in Louisville at the time, I mean, when Charles Dickens came here, he talked about the pigs running through the streets. It was a pretty wild river town.
It was, and he was ahead of his time. You think of, like, I live in the Butchertown, Nulu area. There are things like thematic bars. He was way ahead of the time in that in the 1850s or 1840s, he decided to open his own themed bar, and it was called the Big Gun Tavern. It was fit for a man his stature, 3 stories high, huge ceilings, big chairs, so it would accommodate the Dan Issels of the world.
He built his own place to be so tall. Okay, I've got a photo I want to show you. I don't know who is in this suit, but the Frazier Museum's Street Festival, the Beer Fest, is coming up this Saturday. There is somebody in that suit. Is that you, Simon?
I can neither confirm nor deny whether I am inside this chicken costume that a wonderful, I'm told, talented Michael Jackson-esque dancer was dancing in this chicken costume at last year's Frazier Summer Beer Fest. And we're actually going to revive that this Saturday at our Frazier Summer Beer Fest, a big fundraiser for the museum. You come out, you try all these local and regional craft breweries. It's in Main Street between 8th and 9th, and if you buy a VIP ticket, you get access inside the museum, air conditioning, indoor bathrooms.
Okay, because it's going to be 115 degrees probably. Is that correct, Matthew? Is it going to be 115 on Saturday?
Close. Yeah.
Close.
So inside this Caulfield's novelty-made chicken costume, what is the heat level going to get up to? I'm asking for a friend, whoever might be inside the costume.
But this is an evening festival. It starts in the afternoon, late afternoon?
5 to 8 p.m. for general admission, 4 to 8 for VIP, which, like I said, gets you access inside the museum. We have fewer than 100 tickets left, fundraiser for the museum, but indoor restrooms, and you get to see Jim Porter's case.
Great, and the Frazier, of course, needs the support. Of course, you all have great community outreach. You really weigh into the community, have the public forums and all kinds of programs. And you get to see Simon Miners and go up to him and ask and talk to him. It's probably going to be him in the chicken suit.
Well, like I said, we don't know.
Listen,
whoever it is, incredibly talented.
By 6 p.m., you're going to be fried chicken. Oh, there you go. All right. Thank you, Simon. All right.